All right, greetings everyone. It really is good to see all of you today. And if you were unable to join us because of your schedule, you're seeing this via recording. So I want to remind you guys of the two things that you need to think about. If you are here today, I recommend right after this going to the assignment, the Zoom session for writing project number 1, and noting that you were in attendance today. I can see who's here, and all you have to do is put today's date. If you were unable to join us, you should be viewing the video. Take a look at the handout about Google expectations, and then what you'll do is you'll write the length of summary that it notes, and then you'll submit that for your assignment, and you have to the end of the weekend to do that. I wanted to take a moment today to go over the writing prompt, answer any questions that you might have. I'm going to put you into breakout rooms for just maybe 5 to 6 minutes, and then we'll come back and I'll answer any questions you might have. And then I wanted to take some time to share about the grading policy for our class. So that is what we're doing today, and like I said, this session won't be any longer than 30 minutes. So we'll have one of these sessions for every unit. They tend to be on Fridays because some classes are meeting asynchronously for your online classes. So, all right, so let's get started. We have the writing project roadmap, the project number 1 roadmap, and in every roadmap you will have the writing prompt, except for the timed writes, but they're, you're able to see some ideas about what the topic is at least about. And what you'll see is you'll see our writing prompt is here. We have a key question that sort of is the overall question, and then we have the writing prompt where you need to look at the different sub items for each one. You'll have the problem, the audience, and the purpose for each writing project prompt as well. And again, I want to remind you about audience, that while I will be the one reading your papers, you need to imagine a broader audience based on what is written here. You'll have your purpose here as well. So I'm going to take a moment to read aloud the writing prompt. And one of the reasons why I do this is that I've been a student for a really, really long time. I take classes fairly continuously. And I took one this summer. I take probably 1 to 2 classes every year. And every time I look at a prompt, I always am thinking about, oh my gosh, I don't know how to answer this prompt. This is hard. This is, those are my sort of my first reactions to when I see a prompt, or what am I going to write? I don't know. This is confusing. And so I give myself some permission to feel that way, to feel like it's okay that I don't know what I'm going to write. And then later on, I'm calmed down a little bit, and then I'm able to think of overall what I want to write. But I want to let you know that the act of writing is the act of learning. And what that means is that as you write, you continue to learn, and it gives you some guidance as to what you need to do next, what you need to look at and focus on. And so writing is wonderful to showcase what you've learned, but it is also a way of learning as well. So I want to read this prompt for you, and a lot of times reading it aloud helps as well. So the writing prompt is this. John Taylor Gatto, in his essay Against School, suggests several problems with the present educational system. In a multi-paragraph, 750-word essay, please do the following. I want to share with you that 750 words is approximately 3 pages, but if you go on to Google and you go on to Word, they also do a word count, so you don't need to worry about it, okay? And the prompt is this. I'm asking you to summarize his main claims, the author's, and discuss whether or not you have been a victim of these negative lessons, since you've had so much experience being a student if you're at this point. Then 3, consider your own experiences in school to form an argument about whether schooling encourages students to mature intellectually and creatively, or does school strip students of their ability to think critically and independently? Do schools shackle our youth or empower them? Okay, so how and why? So you're going to do all 3 of these things in your writing project. So for the purposes of our writing project, please follow these parameters. I'd like you to include at least 3 quotations from the text, and yes, the word quotations is doubled here. I need to edit that out. Please include at least 3 personal anecdotal examples. An anecdote is a story, and when somebody says that somebody is using anecdotal evidence or anecdotal examples, they're using stories as evidence. And stories are not the most powerful pieces or most valid pieces of evidence, but there are times and places when you can carefully use them. And in this particular writing project, I am asking you for 3 personal anecdotal examples. But when you are not sharing those anecdotal examples, I would like you to please only stick to the 3rd person. So you won't be using I or me except for those anecdotal examples. Okay? And then what you're also going to do after you're done is you're going to work on your self-assessment, revision, reflection journal for writing project number 1. And because this is a 1 draft paper, you only have to answer the 3rd prompt located on this handout. And this is due within 2 days after the final draft is due. So by Tuesday, you need to turn this in. And I will most likely have your writing projects graded by that point. But if you do not turn this in, then I am going to remove your grade. And it's the one thing that I'm a big stickler about, because writing about your own writing and thinking about your own writing is going to help you learn. And for the self-assessment, revision, reflection journal, when we do process-based writing, which is what you're going to do in the next writing project, you're going to have 4 different prompts that you're going to write about for your 1 piece of writing. And what I want you to do is I want you to have a Google Doc that is ongoing. So you have the writing project number 1 reflection, then writing project number 2, and so on and so forth. So when you turn this in, you're going to turn in the same document each time, but I will be scrolling down to check and see the newest entries into that journal. Okay, so at this point, does anyone have any questions about the prompt itself or the parameters? Okay, so what I'm going to do right now, as I have stopped sharing, is I'm going to put you into a couple of breakout rooms, and I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to talk. Each person should take a moment to share. I've already done it. I haven't done it yet. I'm thinking about this. I'm not sure. What do you think about this? So just take a little bit of time, each person about a minute or so, to discuss the prompt. We'll come back and I will answer any questions that you might have about the prompt, and then talk to you about how the grading works in this particular class. Okay, so I'm going to create the breakout rooms. All right, and I'm going to invite you to go to the breakout rooms. We have one group back. The others will return soon. How are you all doing? Good. Good, Vivi. Yay, Melly. All right, looks like we have everybody back. Okay, so did anyone have any questions about the prompt?
Good morning, Professor.
Good morning, Abigail.
I seem to be a bit confused about the whole essay. Like I was sharing with my group, the canvas seems to be a little bit hard to navigate, and I read what you write on the modules, but I'm not quite understanding the essay.
All right, let's go back to it.
Okay, perfect.
All right, so did you read John Taylor Gatto's Against School?
Yes.
Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to summarize what
Mm-hmm.
his main arguments are, his main claims.
Okay.
Claims and arguments mean the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're going to spend a little bit of time discussing if you've been a victim of these negative lessons that he's written about in his text. Okay, so he said there's all these lessons, but they're
Mm-hmm.
negative. So have you been a victim of them? Yes or no? And then you're going to answer this. Has school, your own experiences,
Mm-hmm.
think about whether or not does school actually help students or prevent students from learning? Okay.
Okay.
So it's 3 parts to the prompt. Now you'll
Mm-hmm.
have an introduction and whatnot, but your thesis statement would be focused on whether or not schooling actually supports learning in students
Mm-hmm.
or takes away learning.
Okay.
Okay, does that help?
Yes. So the way you just said it right now, like the introduction and then the thesis, that's why I wasn't sure on how to start, the how to start the essay to where it flowed together and didn't seem like it was everywhere.
Yeah, so you'll focus your thesis on number 3. But
Okay.
then, so you'll have an introduction about schooling and introducing the text, and you'll have your thesis, and then you'll summarize, you'll share your story, and then you'll get into whether or not
Perfect.
schooling
Thank you,
does
Professor.
this or not. Yeah. Yep. You are welcome. Anybody else? All right.
Hi, I actually had a question. This is all due today or is it
It's due
Sunday?
by Sunday.
So everything is due by Sunday?
Well, the remainder of the assignments, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
This particular essay, it's a 3-page essay about 750 words. This is due by Sunday.
Okay, thank you.
You are welcome, Vivi. Who's on your lap?
My daughter, Selena.
Hi, Selena.
Say hi.
Hello. Hi. Nice to meet you.
Say hi.
I remember those days. My baby's 14 though, so she's a bit older. My oldest is at PCC though, but I never give his name because he would be embarrassed. Anyway, let's take a moment to talk about the grading. The way I grade things is a little bit different than other classes. And so the way to think about how I grade is based on like your grade point average. So when you were in high school and even in college, a 4.0 means that you received all A's, and a 3.0 means you received all B's, etc. And usually a grade point average is not often just a 4.0 or just a 3.0. Usually it's like a 3.456 or a 3.8 or a 2.5 or whatnot. So how grading works in our class is 0 to 20% is an F, like a 0, okay? A D or a 1 is 20 to 40%. A C or like a 2 would be 40 to 60%. A B or like a 3 is 60 to 80%. And an A or like a 4, like a 4.0 is 80 to 100%. So at the end of the semester, if you receive between those percentages, you'll have that particular grade. And it's in the syllabus if you scroll down to where it says assessing and grading your learning. Okay? And so also I want to point out that for preparatory work, assignments that you're doing that are helping work towards the writing project, I have Canvas automatically drop the lowest 6. And then for writing projects, you have 2 late passes. They're each worth 4 points, and everybody starts off with 8 points. And if you don't need to use the late passes, you don't have to. If you do want to use late passes, you only have 2. Other than that, if you turn in something late, then it is a 0. So you have 2 late passes. So if you don't turn in this first writing project, you would have 1 week between this Sunday and the next Sunday to turn it in, and it would be cost you 4 of your late pass points. Okay. If you don't use your late passes, you just get to keep them as extra credit. So at the end of the semester, your grade will be your grade. But like I said, the 0 to 20 is an F, 20 to 40, and it's 0 to 20, 21, it's right in those, the 20% each towards your grade. Does anyone have any questions about that? All right then, if you don't have any more questions, I will let you know that your next unit will open up this weekend, and then we'll get started. And this next unit is going to continue where we are going to continue to work on learning power, or thinking about learning, but you're going to be reading more texts located in your textbook, rereading America. So it's really important you have your textbook available. That's where the text from John Taylor Gatto came from, that particular chapter, but it will be a process-based essay where you will do pre-writing and a draft and a peer review and a final draft. Okay? Any questions? All right, if not, take care everybody. See you next time. We'll have a Zoom session in the next unit. We'll do 1 per unit. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
You too.
Bye.
Have an amazing weekend. Thank you. Bye.